Imagine stepping into a medieval home on a winter evening. Outside, the wind cuts through fields of frost-covered earth. Snow presses against stone walls. The world is dark. No streetlights, no power lines, no glowy windows. Yet inside, the air is warm. Not briefly warm, not artificially heated for a few hours, but steadily, quietly warm, enough to sleep, eat, work, and survive months of cold without electricity, gas heaters, insulation foam, or central heating. This wasn't luck. It wasn't primitive hardship. It was design. For centuries, medieval people lived through winters harsher than many we experience today, without modern technology, by understanding heat, materials, and shelter at a level most modern homes have forgotten. Tonight, we uncover why medieval homes stayed warm, how they worked with nature instead of fighting it, and what quiet wisdom still waits inside stone walls and timber frames. Modern homes feel advanced. Thermostats glow softly on the wall. Heating systems hum invisibly behind drywall. Insulation is hidden, outsourced, manufactured, and forgotten. But remove electricity or fuel, and that comfort disappears almost instantly. Modern houses cool down quickly. Heat escapes through thin walls, wide windows, hollow doors, and lightweight construction. Entire buildings depend on continuous energy input just to remain livable. This is not resilience. It is dependence. Medieval homes were built for a different reality. Fuel was precious. Winter was deadly. Failure meant sickness or death. So medieval builders did not rely on external systems to add warmth. They built homes that kept warmth. To understand how, we must step inside the medieval mindset, where architecture was survival and every material carried purpose. Before discussing walls and fires, it's important to understand the world medieval people lived in. From roughly the 5th to the 15th century, Europe experienced several prolonged cold periods, including what historians now call the medieval cold phases, precursors to the later Little Ice Age. Winters were longer, roads were impassable, food preservation was critical, firewood had to last the entire season. There were no emergency services, no deliveries, no second chances. A home that failed to stay warm was not uncomfortable, it was lethal. So medieval houses evolved slowly, shaped by generations of trial, observation, and experience. Bad designs disappeared, good designs endured, and what endured was deeply intelligent. One of the most misunderstood medieval materials is stone. Modern thinking assumes stone houses are cold. Step into an unheated stone building today and it feels icy to the touch. But this misses the point. Stone was not used to create warmth. It was used to store it. This principle is called thermal mass. Thick stone walls, often 2 to 4 feet thick, absorbed heat slowly from fires, bodies, and sunlight during the day. Then, over many hours, they released that warmth gradually into the living space. Unlike modern lightweight walls that lose heat quickly, stone resisted rapid temperature change. Once warm, it stayed warm. Archaeological studies of medieval castles, monasteries, and peasant homes consistently show walls built thick not for luxury, but for thermal stability. In effect, medieval homes were heated slowly but continuously. The house itself became a thermal reservoir. Medieval homes were dimly lit by modern standards. Windows were small, often narrow slits, sometimes covered with oiled cloth, animal bladder, or wooden shutters instead of glass. This was not ignorance, it was insulation. Glass was rare, expensive, and inefficient at retaining heat. Every opening in a wall was a potential escape route for warmth. By minimizing window size, medieval builders dramatically reduced heat loss. During daylight hours, shutters could be opened to admit sunlight, another source of warmth. At night, everything was sealed tight. Modern homes, filled with large glass panes, lose massive amounts of heat, even with double or triple glazing. Medieval homes simply refused to let warmth escape in the first place. Heat rises. Modern homes often have high ceilings, open plans, vaulted spaces. Beautiful, but inefficient. Medieval homes kept ceilings deliberately low. This meant that warm air from the hearth didn't drift upward into wasted space. Instead, it remained close to where people lived, worked, and slept. In peasant houses, entire families often lived, cooked, and slept in a single main room. Body heat alone contributed to overall warmth. Animals were sometimes housed beneath or beside living quarters, not out of cruelty, but practicality. Livestock generated warmth that rose into human spaces. The medieval house was not separated into isolated zones. It was a shared thermal ecosystem. The hearth was the heart of the medieval home, but it wasn't just a fireplace, it was a thermal engine. Early medieval hearths were open fires set centrally in the room. Smoke escaped the roof vents or gaps. Over time, chimneys evolved, improving airflow and heat control. Stone hearths absorbed heat from the fire and radiated it back into the room long after flames died down. Cooking, heating, light, and even social gathering revolved around this single source. Fuel efficiency mattered. Firewood had to last. So fires were not roaring constantly. They were maintained carefully, often banked with ash to preserve embers overnight. This slow, steady warmth was intentional. Not every medieval home was built of stone. Peasant houses often used wattle and daub, a framework of wooden branches filled with clay, straw, and animal dung. To modernize, this sounds crude, but scientifically it was brilliant. Clay walls regulate humidity and temperature naturally. They breathe, absorbing moisture and releasing it slowly, which helps maintain stable indoor conditions. Straw added insulation. Dung added binding agents and resistance to cracking. These walls were thick, dense, and organic, far removed from today's hollow drywall. When properly maintained, Wattle and Daub homes were surprisingly warm and durable. Some still stand today. Thatch roofs made from reeds, straw, or grasses were common throughout medieval Europe. While flammable if neglected, properly maintained thatch was one of the best insulators available. Layers could be over a foot thick, trapping air and slowing heat transfer. Snow settling on thatch actually improved insulation, sealing heat inside. Unlike modern roofs that radiate heat outward, thatch buffered temperature extremes naturally. It was renewable, local, and effective. Medieval builders understood the sun intuitively. Homes were often oriented to face south or southeast, maximizing solar gain during winter months. Sunlight warmed walls during the day, especially stone or clay surfaces that absorbed heat. North-facing openings were minimized. This passive solar design, now celebrated as modern sustainability, was simply common sense in the medieval world. They built where warmth lived. Warm homes were only part of medieval survival. People adapted themselves too. Wool garments trapped air and retained warmth even when damp. Layering was standard. Beds were surrounded by heavy curtains to retain body heat at night. People slept closer together. Work slowed during winter. Movement was deliberate. Modern discomfort with minor temperature variation didn't exist. Medieval warmth was not luxury, it was equilibrium. With all our advancements, why do modern homes often feel colder during power outages than medieval houses ever did? Because modern buildings are designed to consume energy, not conserve it. Thin materials, large openings, synthetic insulation that degrades, systems that fail when power stops. Medieval houses were slow, heavy, inward-looking, and stable. They were not optimized for speed, they were optimized for survival. And that difference matters. We cannot and should not return fully to medieval life, but we can learn. Use thermal mass where possible. Design homes that retain heat naturally. Respect orientation and sunlight. Reduce unnecessary openings. Build for long-term stability, not short-term convenience. Modern sustainable architecture is rediscovering principles medieval builders never forgot. Sometimes the future lies behind us. Medieval homes were not primitive shelters struggling against nature. They were quiet collaborators with it. Stone held memory. Walls breathed. Fire was respected, not wasted. Homes were shaped by experience, not trends. Warmth did not come from switches or screens, but from understanding. And that understanding, carved into centuries-old walls, still whispers to us today. If you found value in rediscovering this lost knowledge, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it, so these forgotten lessons don't vanish again. Because sometimes the smartest solutions are the oldest ones still standing.